in my own life, and I came across these drawings, and a cliff note to this too. I've always had throughout my life, I've woken up with these like night terrors. I never feel those experiences. You kind of wake up and you're paralyzed, and you feel like there's something there in the room. All these sort of things. There's all these been building throughout my life, and I've had all these like suspicions of. I've had all these sort of suspicions that maybe something had happened, and then I was about a year ago. I was going through these drawings that my mom had, and I saw these two drawings. They were actually two of like the earliest drawings I had from 6 years old. And one drawing was myself outside, and this ahead of me is this blue being with this triangle, this rainbow triangle, and the rainbow triangle has there's like an energy line that's coming from the triangle all the way into my midsection, but it has like the horizon and the sky in the background, so it defines the foreground, it defines like myself and this being and this object and this energy going into my stomach. And then the next drawing is the same foreground and the same sun, but it's me inside of the pyramid flying in the air. And when I saw that, it was just like, I felt like I found like my thesis statement of my alien abduction theories. It was just like totally proven. Like I didn't need anyone else. I don't need to do like transgression or anything. It was like, well, there it was right there. I knew something was happening. So yeah, there are times where those things can be, nature can be definitely harbingers. A lot of the work can be a harbinger of things to come, for sure.
I've definitely painted things and people and realised what they were later on, because a lot of the time painting, there's two aspects to painting as far as what I perceive. It's the same as music. You have the left hand side of the brain, which is of course the technical side, and the right hand side of the brain, where the information comes from a space of no mind. And then of course to get to that point you've got to have the technical side to a certain level. It's just when you speak to other artists and that, you know, actors who do theatre, sports, or musicians that jam, it all comes from a space of no mind. So yeah, a lot of this stuff does come from deep within the subconscious. And a lot of, later on when I was dealing with issues or programs that I had, I realised why I kept repeating the same things in a lot of my imagery. Some of it's past life stuff, or some of it's collective conscious coming out of the collective. Some of those are programs that need to be shifted or need to come out to the surface. And I've painted people and they've rocked up, like those exact people have turned up. So,
I was pretty obsessed with painting rainbows for some reason when I was a child, and when I went back to my the house where I grew up, I noticed I'd scratched the word rainbow on the wall. So it was still there, so I don't know what that means.
I always start thinking I'm doing something outside and other and over there, and then at the end of the completion of a painting realise that it's my own vulnerable, fragile or denied parts that have plonked onto the canvas. So it's constant, my transformation and reflection. Is that what creative form other than art we find most fascinating?
Yeah.
If I could paint like music, I'd be thrilled. I love music. The musicians, all of them.
That is a good point, because when I do teach people, I often, as an example, do correlate painting with music, because there is a lot of similarities. Even if you take the resonant frequency of say the colour yellow, you know, it might resonate at 144 hertz, and then so does the sound A, for example. You know what I mean? Because in actual fact there is no such thing as colour, or there is no such thing as sound, of course. It's just a resonant frequency to which we, and don't quote me on the 144, but I mean that's just an example. You know what I mean? A resonant sound has a correlating colour. So yeah, it is all just an interpretation of the mind. And the whole process of doing it as well is the same, because I do find people that have had, for example, dancers, ballerinas, easier, you know, they take the art thing. Their brains are obviously a bit more wired up for some reason. You know, they pick up drawing and painting a lot easier. And as my ex-housemate Cole Passon, who is a phenomenal artist and musician, said, if you're an artist, you're halfway to being a musician, and if you're a musician, you're halfway to being an artist. I mean, that's just the music art thing. Of course, everything's there's no major line between all the art forms. So
yeah, I would agree that there's no. Yeah, the art forms are very similar, and recently I've been getting interested in dance a lot. I think it's something that I didn't understand before. I went to Confest a few weeks ago and sort of had the experience of realizing that dance, there's not much mind involved when you're moving around, and it can also be used as a way of embodying different energies and playing with movement, and yeah, I think dance is interesting.
For the artists here that work both as singular artists on one piece or as artists on larger pieces with other artists, in other words on group works, just any comments that you find about that process being transformed by working with multiple people on one project as opposed to working on one project by yourself?
Right now I'm working on a fantasy epic book, and it's arised spontaneously. I just wrote something of a dream on a little close group on Facebook, and one of my close friends who lives near me chose to take the dream and elaborate upon it and kind of take it to the next chapter. And it's become like 4 of us involved in a feedback loop where we're co-authoring this story, and it's been completely magical because you're completely taken out of your own world with it. It becomes a kind of collective creation full of the unpredictability of real life and the different agendas and forces that are vying for our destinies. And the world is exponentially growing, the kingdoms are being described, the cultures, the protagonists, the stories they go through, and I realize my place in it is like a kind of Homeric god, like you know, it's like in you know, sort of the Iliad, where you've got like these gods ruling over these mere mortals, you know, and the characters in my world, or the world that I'm helping create, are somehow alive. You know, they're experiencing, they have the kind of different way of responding to the circumstances they're in, because I'm not just in control. And so there's some kind of life that comes through collaborative work. It's very mysterious. It's like you know, you become a sub-creator. Like, you know, God is creating these child universes, and we are a child universe, and we can create our own sub-child universes, and so on into infinity. It's magical.
Yeah, I mean, it's really all collaborative, and this festival is an excellent example of an incredibly collaborative art piece. You know, none of us can do this by ourselves. You know, I think these are the festival circuits in general really amplify the power of collaboration, the power of when people come together with intention and focus and love and community and bring all their talents together. You know, it's really important to recognize all the people that help create that, and I think it's really about kind of the allegiance and alliance of particular archetypes together. You know, because when you put things together, you know, 2 and 2 can become 22 when you have the right synergy and the right magic of a really powerful, supportive team and supportive people in your life.
Yeah, all of my projects take a large amount of collaboration, and to that effect, I've actually I have a Facebook page, and when I do these at Burning Man, I have what is called the Portal Collective, which is pretty much open to anyone who wants to work with these Portal projects that I do and collaborate. And it really, I think a lot comes out of collaboration, of bouncing things off of each other. And just to get this one here for Rainbow Serpent, I was in Byron Bay and met people there at the Starseed Garden that were perfectly suited to collaborating on fabricating it. And then through them, I was introduced to other people that were the perfect collaboration to help assemble it here. So it's I really appreciate and enjoy the fact that the work I do is not just about what I'm facilitating, but that it's open to this collaboration, because there's a synergetic result that comes out of the collaboration of different people.
I'm a bit new to collaboration, working on this piece. It's been an absolute joy working with Bonnie and Kuba. I've got one collaborative project coming up I'm quite excited about, a church that's asked me to live paint while they have all these different choirs and kirtans and sacred music. So I really love the idea of cross-collaboration where the musicians are creating an energy and we're moving it in through art. So see how that goes.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying working on this piece. It's kind of my first collaboration with Katya and Bonnie. And yeah, it's interesting working with the dynamics of different people. Each person brings something different to the mix, and gives birth to something completely new that possibly as an individual we couldn't have come up with, because there's different types of thinking involved and different energies.
For me, the collaborative work I've done has mostly been on the large murals, mostly in South Africa, which was kind of very interesting. There was like 30 people working over a period of time over various murals across Durban. It got a bit messy at times, with sometimes too many cooks in the pot. Gets a bit much, but yeah, eventually we pulled it off. Yeah, and I think it just works a little bit better if people have their bit that they do, the thing that they're best at, which I think happened here with this collaborative painting as well. Yeah, and then just different personality dynamics all comes out. And sometimes it works really, really smoothly, and sometimes it's all over the place. It just depends on the project and the people involved.
Just to add to that, I would say don't underestimate the power of your own collaboration by you attending festivals, by buying artwork, inspiring other people coming to talk, listening to these guys, you know, give their comments and their views and their ideas on their world perspective and their, you know, artistic integrity and all those sorts of things that will then, I would imagine, go and inspire a whole, you know, other tangents in other people's lives. So it is a collaborative cultural canvas, I think, that we're all working on together here.
Much gratitude for being here, and thank you to the organisers and all the people who put this thing together. And it's really good to see the arts represented at the festival scene as well, to have music as well as the visual arts. It's really good to have that happening.
So you don't need to be a painter, a dancer, a sculptor to be an artist. It's just a question of, are you the creator, or is reality creating you? I think we're all artists. It's just a question of, are we going to take our power back and create that which we are wanting?
I'm so thankful that you guys all came to the talk today, and hope you enjoy the event, and just like to thank you all for being here, particularly you guys. Thanks. I don't